In reinforcement, there are two types, negative and positive. Positive reinforcement is getting a reward or praise. Negative reinforcement is using the method of removing or avoiding yelling or spanking or some other unpleasant stimuli. Negative reinforcement has been shown through many studies to work well in the short term but be less effective over the long term. Positive memories linked with learning tends to help solidify them into the long-term brain, while negative memories solidify easier into the short-term memory because cortisol is needed for short-term memory. This is why you might be able to quote Monty Python verbatim when drunk or just very relaxed, but you can't remember where you left your keys. Spare the rod and spoil the child was created by human observation and intuition, but the actual scientific data is, as it often is, counterintuitive. Liberal churches use positive reinforcement, which keeps their people coming back long term. Fundamentalist churches use negative reinforcement, which, if you're able to leave that church, you will probably never come back to. Many of the more liberal churches tend to rely on positive reinforcement, feelings of spirituality, acceptance of science and evidence to prevent cognitive dissonance, live music, social acceptance, and a warm environment. If they fail at these, they lose people. I, in fact, have received letters from people who had problems losing their faith because they had such good memories linked with their religion. I had one who lived in Sicily in a mob-heavy area. His priest was a loving and kind man and beloved of everyone. He was shot directly in the face by a mobster and did nothing to defend himself. Every time the subscriber thought about losing his faith, he felt guilty, like he was betraying his priest because he was such a good Christian. I told him this man was a good person, not a good Christian. This man would have been just as good regardless of the religion, just as there are bad Christians and bad atheists. This must have helped him because he's now a very deep-thinking atheist. I have known many people with such positive connotations to their religion, they have no reason at all to leave or bother questioning it. There are probably issues they act hypocritically on, but the forgiveness factor helps out, especially if they doubt or show tolerance to their fellow human being who does not believe. They follow the blessed are the peacemakers and the meek passage, and are possibly oblivious to the other parts where Jesus said, I am not come to bring peace but a sword. The church provides a spiritual service just like any other spiritual business, and if they fail at providing this service, then they lose business, as is happening in much of Europe right now. Although I wish they didn't get to provide this business tax-free. In these churches, even if the person leaves the church for a long period of time, they will still have good connotations and will probably come back, especially when age increases or they fall on hard times. This is the concept of long-term customer that many good smaller businesses have instead of the sleazy one-time salesman sucker them for everything they've got. Negative reinforcement also has another problem involved that makes it less effective. Many times a child or pet can become desensitized to unpleasant stimuli, making you have to up the ante and continue to make the punishment harsher until it borders on abuse. Then nothing you do to the child will have any effect anymore. There are many better alternatives to spanking and yelling, which I'll not go into here, but look them up, such as ignoring when a child is doing something for attention, or say the one-armed bandit style of partial reinforcement. Unfortunately, when it comes to the use of hell as a negative reinforcement of behavior, abuse is most certainly what it is, even if there's no visible scars or bruises. One final point on operant conditioning is the idea of vicarious conditioning. Mirror neurons give us the ability to feel like we're doing what someone else is feeling or doing. This has allowed us to learn a wide variety of things, from making stone tools to playing complex piano pieces. It has also allowed us to feel empathy for one another, to be stronger as a group instead of one weak individual. Vicarious conditioning is a powerful force, especially when it comes down to the do what I say, not what I do. A significant percentage of children of domestic violence go on to propagate spouse abuse. The same is true with parents of smokers, compulsive gamblers, obesity, and alcoholics. Why? Because besides the probability of genetic predisposition, your mind has also picked up a lot of your parents' habits, attitudes, and philosophies on life. Also, your mirror neurons are able to feel as they have actually done what your parents just did. Not being around violence growing up, I don't really know how to be violent or abusive. If I was to do so, it would take practice in breaking through my comfort zone to get to myself to that point. Children of abuse know the ins and outs of abuse. It is more a normal thing to them, so using it is much easier than it could ever be for me. Breaking that normal of what you know versus a possible better lifestyle full of little unknowns that require practice makes one uncomfortable because it changes who they are and their self-image, even if it's being changed into a better person. Marijuana is considered a gateway drug. Why? Because to get it, you have to go through a dealer and break the law. Doing these things desensitizes one to the threat of the law. And while you're at it, you don't view a dealer as doing something bad. The comfort zone of staying in the law is broken, so why not try some other drugs while you're at it? Most people I know around me did not really seem to truly have joy about the religion. Their joy and belief seemed forced. My mother, however, expressed joy and love when discussing Jesus, which I learned to feel vicariously. Also, her reactions of negativity or sin and hell reinforced my fears of hell. If not for my mother, I would have never found God to make any logical sense. Humor helped with the unlearning process and pushed me to question and get past my comfort zone. One of my mother's responses affected me up to about this point, and I've only in the past year been able to get over it. Anytime a YouTuber discussed being gay up to about a year ago, be it Bionic Dance or Prof MTH, I would feel an ingrained, sickening sadness for them, like they just said they had cancer and were obviously beyond hope. This is a response of judgment I learned from my mother vicariously. Over the past year, I've thrown science at that emotion anytime it comes up. Being gay is only sad because that person is not accepted and will probably experience persecution in their life. Evolution made them that way, and going with the flow of nature always works better than going against it. I've realized recently that when someone says they're gay, I no longer get this feeling of judgmental sadness for them. They're just people like me. Just different and hopefully happy. Commercials use vicarious conditioning as well, using positive reactions in hopes you will learn to pick up those emotions to their product. Kids are faster at picking up vicarious conditioning, so America aims many commercials at children. Because children cannot accurately understand the difference between reality and fantasy, in many countries, advertising to children is considered a form of child abuse. In America, it's a $50 billion industry. Check out my video on brainwashing for how both advertising and religion use negative reinforcement to get you to buy what they have to sell. Okay guys, the Overcoming Hateophobia will take me a few weeks more, as it requires going to the library and doing some research there. None of the books I own go into the methods as detailed as I like. And not being a psychologist, I don't really want to give any bad advice. So stay tuned and I will get this video done soon. Take care.